Hello and welcome to Focus. I'm your host Jess and it has once again been a busy few weeks. Big university news and our main topic today is that the university has bought out the union food outlets. Mid-March there was a boycott of outlets at the university was proposed at the student union meeting as a form of protest to the increase in rents and the student housing crisis. But it fell through when at the last minute the University of Stirling bought out the student union and its facilities in the Robin Centre such as the venue and Starbucks before the student union meeting. Shockingly, the Robin Centre has a forecasted loss this year of £153,523. That amount of money could pay for my tuition as a Scottish student for my entire degree 21 times over. Now I feel really bad for only paying £3.95 for a Guinness and some curly fries. The student union was officially bought out by Student Hotel Services Limited, which is owned by the university, and the takeover will happen on the 1st of June. I'm here with Elle, who works in the venue bar in the student union and the offices, to talk about the university buying out the student union and the takeover. Elle, how did you find out about the takeover? How were workers informed about it?
Okay, so this has actually been something that staff have kind of had a feeling would happen for a while, just when you've kind of been seeing the way that football and the union's just been falling in that. It was something we thought might happen, and then it was a few weeks ago we got a message from our bar manager letting us know that there would be a meeting which would be held in the underground. All casual staff and permanent staff were welcome to go, and that university staff would also be there, so that kind of confirmed to us what it was about. And we went in and we had a really informative meeting about it all, where we were welcome to ask questions, where everything was explained to us. We were also told that we would be able to pick a representative from both the casual staff and the permanent staff going forward to be able to ask more questions when meetings are held in the future about the takeover.
Okay, so it's been a long time coming. Like, has there been signs of the union is struggling?
So, with the uni taking over, that wasn't something that was ever explicitly said to us until this, but you can kind of see with this kind of thing, for example, last year, I definitely noticed that the bar was getting quieter and quieter. Like I said, I've been at this uni since 2019, so I remember the bar being absolutely packed all the time, people going there for drinks before they headed into town, and then after COVID, you really started to see a decline in people going to the bar. Student drink culture has changed, people are more happy to drink in their flats and pubs and stuff. And then last year, especially, we started to notice that less and less people were coming. When we were throwing events, people, apart from the Taylor Swift event, people weren't really showing up to as many. And, us casual staff, we obviously have our, friend group chats and that, and we kind of would, chat about it. And we either thought what was going to happen would be that the union bar would close down, or eventually the uni would take over.
Okay. And you've been here since 2019, right? So
yes.
You've really seen it being busy.
Yeah, I remember the union bar being kind of the place you went before you headed into town. Mm-hmm. I've been a regular there since I started uni in 2019, so I've seen it at its best and I've now seen it at its worst, unfortunately.
So why do you think that is? Do you think it's prices or a lack of interest, or do you think RAC had something to do with it?
I don't actually. I think the thing with RAC was it made us move down to venue. I don't think it has affected us as much as people think it has. Like I said, last year, footfall at the union, I noticed it was not what it had once been. There would be nights where we'd be working and we would have to close early because people just weren't there, and you can't really keep a bar open if no one's in there. RAC was unfortunate because it meant we had to move to venue, which, people might not really want to walk down to venue and stuff. But I don't think it's had as big an impact on the footfall as perhaps is thought. Like I said, the union, student drink culture's changed. I think especially after COVID, people started to realise that, you could drink in your flat and have a great time. So people have kind of started drinking in their flats before they go out rather than going to a pub before they go out. Prices, everywhere is expensive at the moment. It's not just the union. I know there is a bit of is a union too expensive, is it not? When you really look at the price of a pint in the union compared to a price at bars in town, they're very, very similar. Some bars in town are more expensive. So again, I think it is just student drink culture has changed, and COVID had a massive thing to do with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So The Robinson Centre is estimated to have a deficit of £153,000 this year.
Yeah.
Is that quite concerning? Like, as an employee for job security, are you quite worried about that?
So again, the finances for like the deficits and that, they have been available for people to see. Like, we actually, when I believe it was when the plant-based motion was getting pushed, we actually started, like, a few of me and my friends that worked there at the time, we started looking at it and we realised how much we were losing last year as well as this year. So yeah, that's when we kind of really started thinking of, oh, maybe the union has another year or two left in it before it has to close. So yeah, it is worrying about seeing like such a deficit with people's wages and stuff. It was quite worrying, yeah.
Has it impacted wages?
No, so wages haven't changed. In fact, last year we did get a wage increase. I can't remember what it was before and then what it was after, but the union obviously pays to match like a living wage, which is great. I think, every workplace should do that, but unfortunately they don't. But what we have seen was with less people coming to the union over the years, there are just less hours.
That's completely fair. Do you think this is going to create a conflict of interest with the student union, a student space being owned by the university? Is that a concern?
Personally, so I'd just like to say I don't speak for everyone who works at the union.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I personally, I don't know, it's hard to say because, we're not going to be the only university with a student kind of union bar owned by the actual university. That's not going to be unique to us. There are other universities across the UK that happens at. What I see it as is it was essentially union closes, university takes over. As somebody who's come from a working class family, jobs and people keeping their jobs is of the utmost importance, especially in the climate we're living in at the moment. Cost of living, everything is so much more expensive. The worst thing that could have happened was for everyone to have lost their jobs if we had to close. I understand that it's a student space and that there are, certain tensions between students and the university, but I think the most important thing we need to remember in all of this is we would have lost the union bar. There would have been no space. If it had to have closed, where would people have gone? At least it's now going to stay open, which I think is a good thing. There's obviously, no one knows how this is going to quite work out. We are all hoping it's going to stay the same. We've had at that meeting, we had conversations where we were assured that, job security, that they wanted us still in the bar. We know the space well, so they want us there. I don't honestly think that much is going to change.
Okay, great. Just one last wee question about, you mentioned the plant-based motion. Do you think this is going to impact the plant-based motion at all, like whether or not they reach the goal of plant-based by 2025?
So that I don't know.
Okay.
Obviously, that was a union motion. I don't know how that works with the uni taking over. That's a conversation to be had between the union and the university as this happens, because it doesn't take over until the 1st of June. So there's plenty of time for those conversations to happen. I don't know if the uni will continue to do that. I guess it will come down to everyone at the uni thinks it's viable to do that, because the union is in such a big deficit. They are taking over a bar that is losing money, so how they then decide to manage that to try and make it profitable and try to keep it open would be up to them. But I like to think they'll honour what has been passed, but at the end of the day it does come down to whether it is viable.
Great, thank you so much, Elle.
No worries.